Excuse me. Hey, friends. What is that? Oh, it's a dandelion. It's a dandelion in my hair. Hi, Jock. Is it Jack? Jack. Hi, honey. How are you doing today? Hanging in there. It's a long day. Life is good though. It's girl coded. How are you doing, Jack? Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a blessed day. I was like, let me just get on and just go. Okay. If you guys are coming from Hot Funny Reels, say hello. That's my bestie. I love her so much. She's the best ever. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Erin, and I'm a professional psychic, medium, reader, and manifestation coach. My night is good. I just watched that stuff with like the Perez Hilton, and it was very disturbing. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like, hi, Carson. I just don't know if I'm just not used to seeing that stuff. So it like bothered me. Not to the point where it was like weird. It just was, I really feel like it was like some type of energy harvesting, humiliation ritual. I don't think he thinks bad's going to happen to him. I think if anything, he's going to be super famous here in about a year because of it. Everybody's going to be talking about it, but that's how I feel. It was really intense. I actually did a video about it like 30 minutes after it came out, and then they got me for community standards on what's it called, on TikTok, and they were like, you can't post this kind of things. I'm like, I didn't say anything bad, but it's because I literally said it's a ritual. Like that is definitely a ritual. And everybody was like, on other videos I wrote that on, and they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, it's just like that's how it is. That's the world. Okay. That's what it is. I think it was definitely some type of humiliation ritual. You know, they have like those conspiracy theories. Do any of you guys like conspiracy theories? I'm a conspiracy theorist. I saw a UFO tonight. No, it's so serious. I have a video of it. So like I look up at the sky often, and I know that the blinking lights are like the FAA or whatever the flight association thing is. And I know what the satellite looks like because the satellite, they go but they move fast. Like the satellite, they go into an orbital pattern, and they keep going continuously around a circle. So I've seen satellites before, and I know what those are, and I've seen all of the planes. This was so high in the sky. It was the coolest thing ever, but it followed in the sky, and it was like, and I got a video of it. My son's in the background. He's like, aliens, man. And I'm like, shh. And I tried to get off and like take a picture of it, and I lost it. It like disappeared. I thought it was so cool though. But I definitely think that I saw an alien or an alien spaceship or whatever it is. But then it's like thinks about, do you think that like do you think aliens are interdimensional? I think they're interdimensional. I think that they switch between dimensions. I do. I know what they're here for. E.T. E.T. Bono. Have you guys ever seen E.T.? That's such a good movie. I watched it when I was little. I used to watch it all the time. I am tired, y'all. It was a rough day, but life is good, and rolling with the punches. How's everybody doing today? What you guys doing? This is cute. It's like an earring. I feel like I want to watch a movie, but I don't know which movie I want to watch. Has anybody ever seen Bridgerton? You recently watched it. Hi, Britta. I love you. Hi, Britta. You recently watched it? I like it a lot. I watched it when I was a kid. I haven't watched it for a while, but then I remember like certain parts of it. Wouldn't it be so cool? E.T. Phone Home. Aww. It came out like the year that, like I said, I'm doing great, girl. Hope you're in. Ah, thank you, baby. I'm hanging in there. I'm just like tired. I wasn't gonna go on tonight. I was gonna go on for a little bit. I was gonna say I'll come on for like 20 minutes, but That I know I might be such a sissy. I know I might sound like such a sissy, but that video bothered me. Or not the video, like the picture bothered me because I saw a video afterwards and it really lessened the blow of the picture of the Perez Hilton thing. Like the picture doesn't, it says more than the video does because the videos have like he's like making sounds and stuff in it. It just is different. It's not, to me, it wasn't as disturbing as like the picture that I had seen, but it was like bothering me. It like made me feel some type of way. And I was like, this makes me sad. It makes me sad. And I definitely feel like it was some type of thing that we're supposed to see or was supposed to do something to us. I don't know. It was crazy. How's everybody doing? There she is. There she is. There she is. Girl. That video. I know this is going to sound nuts, but it made me feel less disturbed than the picture. The picture was like crazy, but the video was weird. And I instantly saw it. I'm like, oh, this is a humiliation ritual. And I've just been thinking about it all night and I haven't been able to like escape it. I saw an alien. I saw a spaceship. I saw a spaceship, girl. I did. I swear. I'll send you a video. I was going outside to go to Myers to go get some medicine for Chris. And I literally looked and it was like going across the sky. I'm like, what is that? That's not a plane. That's not a satellite. Literally. I have to send it to you. It was so cool. Then all that crappy Perez Hilton stuff happened. And I was like, I got like bogged down with that. And then my kids went crazy. Hello, Luke. How are you doing? Hello again. How's everybody doing? Everybody blossoming? Look, I made a fan. They're like turquoise, but I tape them together. They're actually astrology cards, but I don't use them because they're like from when I was a kid. Now when I'm hot, I just do this. It's a fan. Isn't that cute? I like made it into it at the end. Excuse me. I'm doing good. Whatever. I'm hanging in there. Yes, everybody, if you're new in here, my name is Erin. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to the part where I'm getting monetized. And yeah, just doing things. I have been very good. We're watching him. I love you. I love you so much. I have been thinking a lot about like manifestation, and we were talking about like how a lot of like the elements of manifestation are in a lot of different areas and like how powerful meditation is. See, I'm trying, girl. So like and subscribe if you think she's I love you. I can't wait till we go to New Orleans. I keep watching videos. That would be so fun. We're gonna have like a whole trip. Patience. I just met her. Hi. I love the new fan. Good thing. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's cute though. Because if you're like sitting here like, oh, is she reading tarot cards or is she fanning herself? And I'm like, it's a fan. Are my nails cool? Look, I like love them. They go blue. Well, hold on, they're not doing it. They're going blue and then black. And then they go like red. They're cool. I'm excited about them. We have green nails together. We have green nails. You have malachite nails, and I have these ones. Yay! I just realized we both have green nails. Thanks, Carson. How are you doing, Carson? How's your energy feeling? Are you feeling, you said you're feeling good. I love that. Okay, so I had like topics to talk about, and then I kind of like forgot. So it's about girl. She said it was so girl coded. I'm like, yes. And look, this is kind of like an earring. Isn't that fun? You're the moment. I love you. How's everybody doing? Okay, so we're watching. Hi, my name is Erin. If you guys want, listen, I'm a psychic. I'm like a real one. There's like psychics, and then there's like real psychics. And I don't even like to be called like a psychic. I'm like a seer. That's why my last name is Sears, because I'm a seer, right? And so if you have a question about psychic stuff or any questions, literally, okay. So let's see what's going on. Well, actually, let's look into what's going on with Perez Hilton psychically. Oh, I have never done this on like live or anything like that where I look into like, okay, I'm nervous. No, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But I'll be like really serious. So be prepared. Okay, so I asked it for confirmation if what he did was a humiliation ritual, and it says yes. So it says that he was offered some type of contract to do so, and I feel like he self-inflicted these things on himself before when he was younger, and he had a lot of mental health issues when he was younger. So to him it wasn't a walk, it was like a walk in the park. Spirit says that in a way, because of like the way he was responding, it was like a kind of like a BDSM, like a kink thing, in a sense. So it didn't bother him to go as serious, and it was used as like a pawn in order to draw energy from people. Wait, explain what happened. Not everyone. Oh, I don't. Am I allowed to say it on here? I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on here. So, Perez Hilton was on a live stream earlier, and he took a knife and was like going like this all over his body, and he was covered head to toe. It looked like Carrie, if you guys have ever seen that movie. Um, and it was very intense. Like he was covered head to toe. He was in his birthday suit, and he was talking about there. Like he got online with other people and like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm unaliving myself," like this, and he said it in a sense, right? So that's what had happened. And first off, before I go any further, mental health is super serious, and it's really sad. Whatever he's going through, but I feel like it was, yeah, I definitely feel like what happened was a humiliation ritual. I think it was something that he purposely inflicted on himself, something that he's done before. He's been gearing up for this for a while. Spirit said something about how like he just recently talked about like finding, God and religion and stuff when he was having some health troubles within the hospital. And it's saying in here that what he like this was all like a ploy that led up to this moment, and that he was doing this to try and earn fame and fortune because it was like his time. And Spirit says he's okay, and that he will be this will blow over in a few months, and then he'll become either like very famous, or like solidify his place, because without him like having something, like he will have fame in that way of like being solidified that way. He sold his soul. um yes. Also, if you watch the video, wash he did I saw that he was a bimbo something. Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, bimbo the Bible something. Yeah, it shows here that he was very much so trying to get more people to watch him, and then he committed this act to get views. And he also went on live. It was all an act. Everything that he did was a surface, like every mark and thing, it was all surface level. He was intentionally doing that to himself. He was hurting himself. But it is something that didn't actually hurt him. I feel like he felt relief throughout it. It was a dark energy surrounding him, and Spirit says it was used to incite an energy, and then use that spirit watching you. Because the thing is like when you have these things like this, like when you have like these negative spirits, energy transcends through time and space quantumly, right? So even though you're through the screen, I can literally hone in on you and like read your energy, and I know it's not everything that everybody believes, and you don't have to believe that, but that's dead ass how it is, right? So I can hone in on you and read your energy and like look into your energy in your life, right? Well, the thing is when you have these, and yes, it was real, it was absolutely real. So when you have these entities that are behind you and they're working with you, um they have the ability to they incite an emotion from you. So that's why, like, some people, they were what they did it on live to feed off that energy. And because energy transcends through time and space, you can watch that video weeks from now, and that energy would still be able to siphon off of that. So it was taking that energy from you. So when you watch the video or see the pictures or anything like that, that's energy being taken from you. It's kind of like, do you guys remember the Travis Scott thing with like Juice World and, or not Juice World, Astro World, where there was these videos that they were talking about how there were so many people there and they were sacrificed. And in the beginning, it's like this guy and he's got this, his head, and that's where they walked through to go to this concert, and they all got smushed and a couple of people got trampled on, RIP. But they said at the first that there was a lot more casualties than what there really were. No, there was a lot, and they covered up a lot of it. They have a lot of power in order to do that type of a thing. um, but in a way, it was a specific type of sacrifice, and that is exactly the same type of energy, like, not the same level, right, of what it was with the Travis Scott thing. Um, but it was this a very similar feeling and energy and vibe. So he was using that as a ritual to take people's energy. So not only was it a humiliation ritual to benefit him, he was doing that to himself. He's gonna, suffer the effects of it, but psychologically, it wasn't messing him up as much as you would think. Um, it says in here that it's all that he will be okay and that he'll become famous from this. But it says if you did watch it or watch a video, go wash your hands with some salt, okay, or pray, and you could do pray to Bible, pray to God, and just like, please, remove that negative energy that could have reflected on me, remove uh, that feeling from me and allow me to replenish my energy, take my energy back, and then block any negative things from me. So, but yeah, they fed off of the energy that was there. Um, it feels very icky though. It feels very icky and gross. So just don't watch the video. Honestly, don't watch it. It's not worth your time and your energy. It doesn't have a shocking factor. It kind of got weird. But yeah, his poor kids. Oh my God. Because no matter what happens, they're probably going to see that eventually. And you know what my thought was too is like, this is somebody's son, like, you let Palestine pray. Exactly. That's perfect. But it's like, I was thinking, what if I sat here and I saw my child do some shit like this, like on live? Like, I would be devastated. And a lot of people, when they're going through those kind of things, they're not really thinking, but oh my gosh, like, I can't, his family who doesn't understand what's going on. Like, that's, oh, his poor kids, man. You said that he just had a kid in like 2017. That's like, that was like, I had a kid in 2015. His kid is my age, or my daughter, almost my daughter's age. I had one in 2022, and one in 2015 and 2020. The thing is, though, is here's the thing. If anybody has ever been on TikTok, they know that you even breathe the wrong way and they're banning you. You breathe the wrong way and they're banning you. I went on and showed my son. I had like 15,000 followers. I went on and showed my son, and they completely blocked my live from ever doing a live again. And there was no appeal process. Anytime I even talk about anything negative in any type of way, certain words you can't say there, right? So, like, how did this go on for 30 minutes and allow him to go and do live with other people? It was because it was supposed to. They would have blocked it. The AI says they would have picked that up. It went on for 30 minutes. Yeah, for sure. It was something that unfortunately was planned. So it sucks. Ask her why they blocked you. Ask who? Hi, Strong Luke. Yeah, I've been off Twitter for a while because of that. Yes, but not here on YouTube. No, that's why I like coming on live on YouTube now, because like I still like have like Twitter has corn on it. Are you serious? I didn't know that. That's why I'm not ever letting my kids get Twitter. But YouTube would have immediately, like, exactly, like, at least they have some standards. The AI would have picked up on that immediately. Like, they let it up for so long. People were he was in his birthday suit, and they literally were people were reporting it left and right. After you report something so many times, even once or twice, somebody can go on your live stream and report it, and it's getting flagged, and the AI is going to watch it for like the next couple minutes to see if anything's wrong. Dude, you're telling me that that was up for 20 minutes and nobody took it off? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That was supposed to be up there. Yeah. Well, you know what though? TikTok is, it's like your teenage cousin who you have to keep their attention. People don't actually go on there to like enjoy themselves. Like, I loved my favorite social media has always been YouTube. I've always loved YouTube. I feel like I learn everything on YouTube. If I could delete every single thing in my phone except for one app, I would keep YouTube because that's all I watch. It's got so much value. The people are super nice. Like, people actually care about, you actually develop like friendships, and like it's a good audience. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I was butt naked on YouTube, I'd be taken down immediately. No, it would be up for 20 minutes. I know, 20 whole minutes. Like, that's obviously, yeah, people were reporting it, calling 911, and nothing happened for 20 minutes. Yeah, see, that's obvious. That goes to show you that there was something going on. There absolutely was something going on right there. Why is this still okay? There was like something definitely was going on. They kept that up for a reason. People are, they kept it up for only so long to where they could get away with it. If they would have kept it up for 40 minutes or even after like 30 minutes, people would be like, why is this still up? What is going on? And then blame would have shifted to them. But they kept it up just long enough for them to be like, oh, our system didn't get it. No, that's crazy. And if you like think about it, there are kids on TikTok. Like, I've seen like little itty bitty kids on there doing their weird little dances. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no. I think they're still at his house right now. 20 minutes is fucking crazy. Dude, and if you saw the stuff, like, he looked like Carrie. Have you guys seen Carrie, the scene where she, like, the paint? I don't know if it's paint or anything like that. And she's like, there's fire everywhere. It was literally that. And then he was doing weird stuff. And he even said on live, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, he said he was committing suicide. Said he was doing that on the live. And they didn't flag. Like, you're serious? It's 3 hours from me. Oh yeah, it was in Miami, wasn't it? And then the guy was like, you shouldn't be drinking the water. But like, and everybody's like flaming him for that. And I guess there was some other stuff he said, and they were they thought it was a skit, whatever. But that guy, they're all flaming him for saying that. But really, like, it's true. Don't freaking drink the tap water. Don't drink tap water, you guys. Oh, I can say it. Okay. Yeah. Don't fucking drink tap water. Don't do it. It literally has so much shit in it, and like neuron blockers. It's got stuff that calcifies your pineal gland. They don't want us to be conscious. They don't want us to be they don't want us to be spiritual and know, and it's the easiest way to stop people from gaining a grasp on anything spiritual, or really kind of finding, like, really kind of getting in touch with their spirituality. Because if you're spiritual, then they can't control you, right? And that's what they want to do, is control you. So they put this stuff in the water so you're more malleable and easier to control. And the easiest way to do it is to put it in the water, because everybody drinks water. It's easier to go to the kitchen and pour a cup of water from the sink versus going to buy, and even some of the water that's in bottles is bad. You know what I mean? So you have to be really careful with like the kind of water that you consume. Natural spring water is incredible. But also make sure you're getting them from reputable sources. Erin literally is, oh, thank you, Luke. I appreciate you. But you got to be careful with like the water that you drink, dude. You do. It's so important that you control what you want. And then also, there's frequencies and everything, because if you think about it, we can really only see this much or hear this much on the spectrum of like this much shit going on at once, right? So there is stuff that's leaking out of our computers, and the way that a TV works is it takes, like, even old TVs, they would take mercury and they would, like, put it on this device and, like, attach something to it, and it would spin, and then through that it was able to read the waves that are just in the air, like the TV waves and all the stuff that they're broadcasting out. It's just shit that's in the air. You know what I mean? So, like, they would be able to, like, read that and, um, like, watch TV. So when they're putting frequency and blasting frequencies out of the radio and songs, there's, like, songs that you listen to, and, like, the songs that you listen to have things in there that are hidden frequencies that are actually getting into your mind. That's why there is this program, was the CIA program. It's by this guy named Robert Monroe, and he created this thing called the Monroe Institute. And there was this CIA and government program where they funded them for years and years and years. It's declassified now, but how to astral project and, like, be psychically connected, right? So yeah, television, exactly, programming. Exactly. You know, I got distracted, but no, like, he created the Monroe Institute, and inside of that, they learned that you could put one frequency in one ear and another frequency in another ear, and then what happens is as you're playing both of them, your brain hears it and it synthesizes it into a frequency, and then it comes into alignment and it enacts specific parts of your brain, right? Like, am I a man? Do I look like a man? No, but Ella Langley is. Um, but anyways, it enacts these certain parts of your brain, right? So you can hear that shit in music, and that's why they're always saying, like, watch what you listen to, watch what you read, um, or, like, read, like, listen to, watch what you consume on social media, all of that stuff. You don't know what you're talking about, Loca. Oh, John. I wish. But anyways, there's frequencies in everything that you watch. That's why you have to be careful. Like, also be careful with what you put out into the world, like, via your words. There's a reason why it's called spelling. Like, when you spell your words, you're putting out spelling in there. So you have to be careful with, like, what you say about yourself. Um, as if you rearrange the letter of words, it's or sword, it's words. So your words are like a sword. You have to be careful with what you say and the energy you put out into the universe, because everything is naturally always being attracted to you. There's this really cool there's this stuff called hermetic philosophy, right? And they follow, like, these specific principles in the Kabbalion. And the Kabbalion is a like a book that is it talks about hermetic philosophy, which is like ancient Egyptian philosophy. So it talks about, like, polarity and how everything is in the mind of the all, and it goes over these, like, really incredible principles that really people live through every day and live in everyday life. And I think a lot of I forgot where I was going with this, but there's Semitic principles that talk about, like, everyday life. I forgot what I was talking about. I completely brain farted. I guess it's not important. I really want some sushi. Speaking stuff, yes, that's what it is. Speaking stuff in existence. She does guts. Really, I see that money. You have a lot of money. Wait, what happened? Oh, hot, funny, real. I see that money. You have a lot of money. Hi, troll killer. Okay, I see you singing, bestie. Aw, she's singing. I'm missing it. She's, like, the prettiest voice ever. She, like, told me when we first met. She was like, I like love to sing, and I'm like, oh, really? And, like, a lot of people say that they love to sing. And then she's like, yeah, I'll have to sing for you sometime. And I was like, okay. And then, like, I heard her and I was like, oh, you're, like, really good. Girl. But yes, you have to watch what you put into the universe. I was talking about hermetic philosophy and all that stuff. But yeah, all that stuff is, like, insane, dude. How's everybody doing? Thank you, everybody, for being on here and hanging out with me. I am working on getting monetized. I have a horrible accent. I don't know why I did that. Do you guys think vampires are real? Do you think vampires are real? I think vampires are real. I do. I think they're real. I think that in a way that it may not be that they live forever. I think that there's an element within the blood that they consume that that keeps them younger. You know what I mean? But I don't think they're invisible in that sense. But I think that in a way it's like something along the lines of that. But it's kind of crazy. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. My name is Erin. How are you doing today? Thank you for being in here today. Guess what? Has anybody ever been to New Orleans? Love learning some new things today. Yay! What'd you learn today? I'm kind of just talking about like random stuff that doesn't have a lot. I mean, I have so much better information, I promise you. I started watching this video. These people, there's this one, I forget, her name is Dahlia Burgoyne, and she can literally read with a blindfold on because your eyes are what sees things, but it's more of a camera. It's not actually what like sees. It's just your processing device, and your brain is what actually sees, right? So if you take away your eyes, then the neural pathways need to learn another way in order to process information, right? So what you do is you practice by closing your eyes and like looking for what's called a window, and people can telepathically look through this, and that's why they really made a video. It's called the telepathy test, and they test these autistic children, and in these things they test these autistic children, and then they like children are nonverbal, but because they've had to learn things differently, they're savants, so they can like literally process things so much faster in their brain. They can do like crazy math, and they can see things behind their head, and you realize that they're actually telepathic based off of the way that their brain processes how much money you have. That's a lot, bestie. I'm really tired. Do you guys like boiled peanuts? My leg hurts. Ooh, 3311. I just got a sign from Spirit. I'm probably gonna head off here because I was like talking in my head about how I feel some type of way and how I need to make a video, and then I looked up at the clock and it said 3311, which I was just talking about numbers with my bestie. And she was telling me about 11. I know it's early, girl, but it's only 1 a.m. I know, but I have to pack 4 orders, print off a label, make a video. I'm tired. Okay, I'll stay on for a little bit. I'll stay on for just a little bit. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me. Hi, Jackson. How are you doing, honey? Welcome. Thank you guys for being and hanging out with me. There's a lot of people that actually see the words when others people. Are you for real? I've never heard of that. Do you guys have an inner monologue? Like dead ass. Everybody in here, I need you to comment and let me know if you have an inner monologue. An inner monologue means that you hear a voice in your head when you're thinking. You heard I was psychic? You heard right. I should not be drinking this soda. It's so bad for me. But it's so good. I am psychic. Now, I'm not a mind reader, but I am psychic. Do you have any questions? If you guys want to, you can ask a question. And then I'll tell you it. I'll tell you your truth. Your day was bad. No, we can't have you have a bad day. Honestly, though, Saturn is in retrograde right now. And Saturn is all about like timing and completion and change. And like whenever you have a Saturn return, so everybody's Saturn return is different, but every 29 years, Saturn returns. And I did not know that there was such a thing as Saturn return until after Saturn return happened. Dude. Saturn return was the craziest part of my entire life. Entire life. So I decided when I can talk freely on here. Okay, so I decided when I was 29, I met I like watched this video about Paul Stamets, and he's this mycologist, and he talks about like mushrooms and everything like that. And then I learned about Terrence McKenna. If you guys haven't heard of Terrence McKenna before, crazy cool guy. Well, anyways, he talked about how you can meet God and like really have like an existential, like a really amazing experience when you take mushrooms. So Paul Stamets talked about how he took a heroic dose, which is like I think like 7 grams or more, or like yeah, like 7 grams or more, right? And normal dose is like 3, and then you would stay in a room and you would be quiet. And he said that he climbed up into a tree. He took that much. He didn't realize how much was supposed to take. He took a whole bag and he climbed all the way up into the top of the tree during a thunderstorm or lightning storm. He used to have a stutter. He climbs back down the tree, and then after that time he took those mushrooms, he didn't have a stutter anymore. And he said it completely changed his life. And what happened was is his brain regrew all these crazy neural pathways that helped him stop having a stutter, right? So I'm like, oh, this is the craziest, coolest shit ever. I have got to do this, right? So I met up with one of my friends who I had met in a psychic development group. Just one, no, I actually met him at the bar, and I invited him to come to my psychic development group, but he was actually a part of the Rosicrucians, which is a cult society that kind of like you like sign up for it, kind of like the Masons. He was a Mason, but it was also like the Rosicrucian. The Rosicrucian is like an order where they like you. It's like an initiation order where you learn about psychic ability in your body and all of this like really like occult knowledge, right? That is based off of Hermetic philosophy, which I talked about before. Well, he was native, and he ended up obtaining this like paper from this tribe that said he was able to medicinally in like small ceremony be able to give like legally do like mushrooms, right? So I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. So I bought like a bunch of fruit, and I gridded the room, like gridding the room with a crystal. So I just went to his apartment, and I've only met him like twice before this, like, but we kicked it off. We were friends like on like text message, but I'm like, let's do this. Like, let me just go to this random guy's house and do mushrooms with him, which I wasn't really that smart back then, but nice guy, turned out to be a really good nice guy. He was safe, okay? But we got there and I was like, I want to meet God. Like I want to see what this is all about. I want to see if I can have a spiritual experience that's like that. So I got strawberries and watermelon, and I put them in the middle of the room, and then around the court we only stayed in one room. It was this little living room, and he had a couch and nothing else, right? And I brought a blanket, and it was like dusk, like sun, almost sundown, but it wasn't sundown. It was like in the afternoon, right? And I was married at this time too. I was married to this man who was very understanding, and I was not going over to this guy's house to do anything other than have a spiritual experience. He was very understanding of me, but he was a completely different, didn't believe in that type of thing, right? So I did. I sat down and we both took 7 grams of mushrooms a piece. What's the tea? 7 grams. Oh my, I've taken a bit of psilocybin, but not that much. I'm a lightweight and scared to do that much. Yeah. So I didn't take mushrooms. Okay. I took mushrooms like 1 or 2 times, like probably 10 years before then. And I was 29. Okay. I was 29. Mind you, comes back to the Saturn return. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take these mushrooms. And at that time I loved my husband. I thought he was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, we just had a daughter. I had another daughter before him, and I was like happy. I felt like I was in the best life that I ever could have, right? I took these mushrooms, and it was the most crazy experience I've ever had in my entire life because I'm already naturally I'm a psychic, okay? A lot of people say that they're a psychic and they're just doing that for validation. I genuinely have been able to see spirits and energy since I was young. I have no benefit on like lying about that at all in any shape or form. So, like I'm actually a psychic. So, I sat down and I started to see things like morph. Now, the first thing I saw was an elephant head, and it was like an elephant head, and it was like on he had like a paneling wall, and I saw an elephant head and the trunk came out. And I'm like, who's that? Like I've recognized that god before, but I don't know who that is. And I found out later that it was Ganesha, and Ganesha is like the Lord of Change or something like that. And it was like a sign that I was going to be like going through something. Well, what happened is that I was with my body, right? But then all of a sudden, at the same time that I was in my body, I was also above my body. It's very difficult to explain. And the amount of information that I was receiving was so fast. Like I was processing it in a way that I cannot put into words. Like um I think a lot of the times like our brains process things a lot slower and we use words but we're processing a lot slower, but so like when you're in your brain you can go through things a lot faster without like having to use words. So I think people without an inner monologue process things faster. I don't have one. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm processing all these information and it was almost like this is my brain regularly, and it was like all of a sudden my brain was like this, and I knew everything. Like I knew everything. I could understand everything. I sat there and I was like, okay, well, why do people do this? Why do people do that? And at that time I was a vegan. And I was like, I don't want to eat meat because I feel like I'm absorbing that negative energy into my body. And basically, what spirit told me was that as much as that's a noble cause, that is not the most important thing that you should be focusing on right now. It says that you can eat meat. You can probably bless the meat, but the most important thing you need to learn about is like spirituality and teaching other people about spirituality and how this changes people. And they said that a lot of people are like on a roundabout, right? They're doing these crazy eight, right? And in order for, and it's like they're always on this roundabout and they're all going in circles, right? And that's why a lot of people don't understand this. But then there's a couple people who break free of that roundabout and aren't in this sheep's mindset. They call them sheep, right? They're not in this sheep's mindset. So they understand things completely differently. And it's our job that if we break free from that little roundabout, that we're supposed to take other people and help other people understand. And it said that it was my path from then on there to understand. And the guy I was with, he kind of was just sitting there quietly, and I was like like I feel like I was telepathically saying this, and he just looked at me. He's like, oh my god. And I'm like, what? He goes like, you're like real. And I'm like, yeah, I'm real. He's like, no, but you're like really the real deal. And I'm like, and I'm not saying that for like ego stuff. He's like, you're like really the real deal. He goes, you really have like you can see. And I was like, well, what are you seeing right now? And he said that I had this huge aura, and I was supposed to. And then I was like, okay, well, I feel like what he's telling me right now is to fan my ego, right? Because you live in your ego like makes you feel powerful and stuff like that. You makes you feel special, but really we're not special at all. We're all about a part of this like one big collective. But I was like, he's telling me this in his supposed to like flatter my ego. And I'm like, well, if I'm taking these mushrooms and this is happening, are these and I thought got so deep to think, okay, well, are these mushrooms like a bad thing? Like, are they a bad thing? Are they telling me things that I'm not supposed to understand? Like, is it a construct that I'm being put into my mind? Right. So I was like, I think what the difference is that he is on a different level spiritually than I am. Okay. He's a lot more in the egoic mind, and my ego completely died during that. Like I had a complete ego death, and I realized that we're all a part of this like big, beautiful thing, and that we're all in like a part of this collective. And it was the most beautiful experience I've ever had. And at that time, my mom was dying. And I remember looking at him, and I was talking to him, and I was like, my mom, she's dying. And I said, but I understand that it's all a part of like this life, right? And then I started talking about um and then I started to feel myself come down from it, like come down from the mushroom experience. Like I started to feel myself go back normal. And I felt sad for a moment because I was like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna miss this part of myself. But I understood that I was so much more than just like this person. I was like a spirit inside of like this big body. And then I realized at that time the spirits told me, they said, this, it says that you're never gonna learn or go anywhere where you're at right now if you stay in the marriage that you're in. And they say that you're not going to be able to live the life that you want to live and go beyond that, because and then they showed me, because the man that I was with, he just was so completely different from me. I was extremely spiritual and he was a really nice person. He was my friend. I think we came together at this really crazy point in my life, and he was very helpful and very kind, and I had a love for him. But I realized at that point in time that this was not the path that I was supposed to go on. So I went there and I was a completely different person, and I left, and I knew that I could not be I couldn't marry him anymore, and I couldn't be with him anymore. So I went home after about a couple of days. I said to him, and I told him like I wanted to have a divorce. I decided from that trip that I needed to have a divorce. And then I went on this crazy journey, and we ended up separating, and I ended up moving out, and I ended up getting pregnant with my other son and having like this crazy experience. But my life, if I would have stayed with him, it was absolutely true. I would have never experienced what I need to experience now and get to this point where I'm at right now. I would have stayed stuck in this construct, in this old mindset, because I thought I knew everything then, right? I thought I knew everything and I had it all figured out, because I'm very spiritual and I am a psychic. So I understand things a lot more than other people. So I felt like I kind of just got it. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, I don't think I'll ever be able to be understood, or people will understand me or be able to live the way that I live. And then I realized after having that experience that I don't know shit. I was like, I sat here, thought I knew everything, and that I was living my life this way, and I broke free from it. And it was the best and crazy experience of my life. And I got divorced, and I ended up completely changing my life 180. All the people that were in my life, they left my life, all of them. And then my parents died, and it was crazy. I had this complete crazy Saturn return. And they say when you hit 29, that's when Saturn turns, and this is where I'm getting to, is that's when Saturn hits and turns or goes around the sun. And or like it's like every 29 years there's like Saturn completes an orbit, right? So whenever astrologically that you have your Saturn return, you're supposed to have this crazy fucking experience where you completely change as a person, and you either stay on the path that you're on, or you go and get set onto another path. And when I say, people say that this is the time when their life completely changes, like their Saturn return was crazy. My Saturn return completely changed me to a T. I went from having 2 kids to 6. I went from living in a tiny little house to a big old nice beautiful house. Like my whole life completely changed. I started my crystal business. I really, I was already psychic, and I was already doing psychic readings, but like I completely pivoted. Like life completely changed for me, and it was all because I took 7 grams of mushroom with some like guy that I had just like met. I knew him like from online, right? But and I had met him a couple times, but it was crazy. And then after that experience, I hung out with him a couple times, and because we that's so crazy, we didn't really know each other. And I was like, I really want to learn about mushrooms. I had like mentioned it, like he had messaged me randomly, like, and I was like, oh hey, how are you doing? I hope you're good. And he's like, can you please tell me the color of this amulet, because I can see energy, right? Because he was a part of like this specific order, and he's like, I need you to tell me the color, like what this color is like letting off. And I'm like, okay, it's orange. And he's like, oh, that's so cool, that's exactly the color it's supposed to be emitting. And he showed me the pamphlet and stuff like that. I'm like, great. And I'm like, I'm trying to like do mushrooms. Like, oh, I have a thing like that, and I grow them myself. And then this is the crazy part, like the week after that, he ended up getting called, like, so the somebody ended up getting called on him, and he freaked out because like I guess some kind of government service came to check on him, and they took samples of like his mushroom stuff, so he ended up throwing it all away, right? He just threw it all away and never grew them again. And till this day, I see him every now and then, and we have this profound, beautiful experience. Like it's hard to explain, but we're deep friends, even though, because we went through such a beautiful, amazing, transformative experience. It was never anything beyond either just being friends. Like he was very respectful of me and my space, but it was the craziest, most amazing experience that I've ever gone through. Oh, everybody was writing comments. Hi, Evie. Well, Ileana, My parents died in a car accident. Now I have no parents no more, and that's the tea I forgot to tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, and my mom and my dad and my grandma all passed away. I'm sorry, Luke, to hear about that, honey. Bro is Harry Potter. Oh my gosh, I cannot with you. Thanks, Eliana, for support, and thanks, Hopefully, we're all you guys anytime. You're awesome, Luke, too. Thanks, Eliana, your sweet ego death. Yeah, it was an ego death. It was amazing. Like, welcome in, suck at your back, have fun. Period clock at Erin's the best. I love Psychic Erin, so I love you guys. You're the best. How funny, I love her. Bestie, can I tell you something? How old are you? Okay, anyways, but yeah, I'm literally an adult. Me too. But if you guys hit 29, that's when like life's supposed to be crazy for you. Some people have Saturn returns at different part of their life. What if you want to learn when your Saturn return is? Put your date of birth into ChatGPT and ask when your Saturn return is supposed to begin, because it will literally tell you when it's supposed to happen. You can put your date of birth if you have a time of birth. That also helps too. But yeah, it was crazy. I took 7 grams of mushrooms, and then after that, I took them like a couple different times, but it never hit the same way that it did when I took it that time. It was crazy. I really feel like it's an amazing tool, like a very spiritual tool. You're 13? What are you doing on? You shouldn't be on here. My daughter's 13. I am 35. I never told you that. I know. I don't talk about it much, but it was one of the most pivotal points in my entire life was when I took all those mushrooms. And then there's one time I took mushrooms when I was in like college, and I was with my boyfriend at the time. And I swear to God, we had a telepathic experience. I'm like, he's like, I know. And we had this whole conversation, like just looking at each other, and it lasted for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, you know what I said, right? And he's like, yeah. And like we were able to recall it and everything. It was a crazy thing. Like, so I think what happens is and this is my hot take, that no, you're okay, honey. Your brain your brain your brain opens up in a certain way when it takes mushrooms. I think that some people use them to have fun and party, right? And that's cool. Everybody do you do whatever you want to do. That but I believe that in a spiritual sense, to take them in a spiritual way with like active. Oh, and I forgot to mention the fruit. I had bought fruit and I set them in the middle of the room, like strawberries and watermelon. The fruit was water. After the experience, we were in the trip for about 3 or 4 hours. I think at most we peaked after like an hour, and then by 3 or 4 hours, it was fine. And we decided we are gonna go walk and get a drink from like the gas station down the road. And I remember walking through the bushes and feeling the plants and feeling about how beautiful life was and everything like that. But the fruit in the middle of the room had turned to water. Like the energy had been taken so much from it. And I gridded the entire room to keep us protected with crystals because I'm a crystal girl. I believe in that stuff. But it was the most crazy experience ever. And all he said was, the guy I was with was that, wow, you're real. You're real. And he told me that I needed to talk about this. And he said that you need to talk about the power of like the mushrooms. And we took Golden Teacher. That was the brand. But it was the most. He was like, you need to talk about it and talk about how this is like a spiritual tool. And after that, I looked up like Paul Stamets, and it was the best experience I think I've ever had. How long was the experience? Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 hours. But I had gotten so much information at that time. Like I had seen. So you know what the ether is? Okay, so the ether. So like even though we're breathing right now, like there's a million things that are happening all on top of us all at once, right? So in the ether, it's like a specific energy field. And in the ether, you can see like colors. I could see colors. How long did it feel like? Oh my gosh. It felt like a full day. It was insane. Like I was getting information about like food, and I took so much from it. and I didn't write it down. And I always wish that, like, if I ever have this experience again, I'd write it down. And then I started to try and take film. So I got my phone out and I started to take a film, like, because I was like, I'm going to film this so that I can look at it later and see if I can psychically see this, like, Ganesha face in the wall. The second that I took my phone out to film, this feeling, it hit me like from my inside of my nose to here, like right here, in this, like right here, and it blocked. And I was like, you're not supposed to use your phone through these spiritual experiences. And I was like, there, like, I'm not supposed to have my phone out for this. So I put my phone and I hit it really quick because it really it kind of messed up the flow of the energy that was coming through. Um, but it was the craziest experience ever. I know, I just laid there. It was very scary at first because I had not taken that much before. I just like garden. I just smoked a lot and I had not taken that much before. So I was like, I didn't had no idea what I was getting into, and I didn't realize that taking that much was like a crazy, crazy, crazy amount. I just wanted to like have a spiritual experience. So I sat down and I kind of started to have like a panic attack. It was the first time I ever had a panic attack. And I was like, I'm scared. And he's like, why are you scared? And I said, because I just realized that I took like 7 grams of mushrooms and I haven't known you for very long. And he goes, no, like, I get it. He goes, you're in some guy's apartment you don't even know and you're kind of freaking out a little bit. He goes, it's totally okay. And he was like, come here, come sit outside on the porch with me, and sit on the porch. And he calmed me down. Not, he was super nice guy. He was like, I think what did he have, like a doctorate? And he was like, he was in the army or something. Like, he was really super cool guy. But he was very kind and respectful. And I was like, I felt safe with him. His name is Mario. He's a cool guy. But yeah, it was the coolest experience I've ever had. But yeah, that was my experience. I'm trying to think if I had any other way. And they also told me in the mushroom trip, it says that you don't need to go, because I sat there and I was like, oh, I always thought that I had to like go all the way to like the jungle in Peru and do ayahuasca, which I kind of always thought I kind of want to do, but I don't really need to. And they said you don't need to do that when you have this. It says you can literally sit here and have a spiritual experience right in your own bedroom. And then they talked about like you can do microdosing, which is where you can take little tiny bits every day and it will help your cognitive function, and it helps with depression, which is true. And it says that what happens is that when your brain is on it, your brain opens up and is more susceptible to like healing, because you don't have, because we have the ego, like you have your ego. So your ego is basically who you are as a person. Like it's like your personality. It's not just like you being like egotistical. That's not what it is. It's more of like who you are as yourself and like your personality. So it's like I'm Erin, that's my ego, right? But outside of being Erin, I'm actually just a spirit that's a part of this collective, right? So when you have an ego death, your ego goes away and you're more susceptible and open to like healing and doing like spontaneous healing. So your brain is, which is like the most powerful thing in the entire world, your brain can literally create miracles from nothing. You can literally wake up tomorrow and be like, if you know how to train your brain, you can wake up in the morning and be like, I want to have $10 million. And there will be a way that if you knew how to do that with your brain and like alter reality, you can get yourself $10 million. It's all about like hacking your mind. But when your ego dies, your brain, the mushrooms and their help rearrange things, it regrows these new neurons and it helps heal you and fix certain parts of yourself. And that's why like it's easy when you take the mushrooms, like they help with reuptake serotonin inhibitors, and they help you like stay away from depression and heal certain parts of yourself, because not only do they spiritually heal your energy, but they spiritually heal like your brain, right? So that's why that guy Paul Stamets was talking about like, oh no, I came down with like got rid of like my stutter after I had this because it regrow neurons. And then he also gave his mother like mushrooms, and she like it helped cured allegedly her breast cancer. And like there was certain ways that he could take like turkey tail mushrooms, and like he had these experiences where it changed his life. And I just think it was the coolest thing ever. And he's one of my, if there was like, they always says if you could meet one celebrity, who would it be? And I'm never like, oh, like I want to meet this person. I'm always like, I want to meet Paul Stamets. I'm like, I hope one day I go to Burning Man and I just like stumble across this guy and I'm like, you changed my life. I decided to have a heroic dose after I saw your podcast. And it's like crazy. You guys should definitely, if you ever have the opportunity to do so. I also, one time I worked at this place called PCCW and we worked with Apple. And I always want to meet him too. Yay, yes, girl. We're gonna meet Paul Stamets. But I worked at PCCW and I like this guy was like, hey, he's like, I have some, I don't know if you guys have heard of DMT. Joe Rogan talks about it's like dimethyltryptamine, and it's like one of the most powerful psychedelics like on the planet, dude. And like people like do it, and they all, the crazy thing about it is that people who do it and have never watched videos or talked about things before have talk about the same characters they come across, the same people they meet. I fell down the steps and my knees all scraped up. I think, no, are you okay? I hope you're okay. I love your top. It's so pretty. Did you layer it? It's one. Yeah, it's a layer. So I have a funky outfit on right now because I'm having fun with it, but I'll show you. I had put this on because I didn't want everybody to see my bra, but before I was just wearing my bra with it. It like was with my dress. So like I have my little skirt, has a slip up the side, and then it has like this like see-through thing. And then I just put this on because I didn't want to be on YouTube with my bra out, but I just like walked around with my bra on because it was the style. Because we're going funky today. Oh, it's 11:11. I love that. Well, it was. Now it's not. It's okay. It was, and it's cool. I love that. I love that for us. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, he was like, hey, I have some DMT in my car. I was like, well, I always wanted to try that. And he's like, do you want to go down and do it while we're at lunch? And I'm like, while we're at work? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I've saw videos where people talk about doing that stuff and they literally they do that stuff and they literally talk about how it felt like years of their life had passed because it was so crazy. I'm like, can you imagine going to work and then like deciding you're gonna do a DMT on your lunch break and then like your life changes? And I was like, I literally had a ego death with mushrooms. I'm like, I'm not doing I'm not doing DMT on my lunch break at work. It's like I don't think I could come back to work. But now I think about it and I'm like, man, I really wish I would have done DMT on my lunch break at work that one time. Because like what kind of experience was in store for me? And now I watch every now and then I watch like videos of people talking about like what they experience and all that stuff. And now I'm too old to do all that stuff. Well, I'm not too old, but yeah. Sorry, Mike. Checking on my little baby. My phone is about to die. But I want to see my turtle. See if my Bubbles is doing good. You guys want to see my baby? Oh, he's sleeping. This is Bubbles. Hi, Bubbles. Bubbles. Oh, he's totally asleep. Okay, he scared me. I hate when he does that. Bubbles. He's so cute. He's my little baby. We locked in. Yes. She's like, you need to stay on a little bit longer. And I don't know where my charger is. That's the problem. I haven't been able to find my charger, and I was using Christopher's charger. And then he took it back to use for work. So I'm gonna go upstairs and steal it from him. Hold on. I have like so many steps. Look how many steps I have. It's like goes all the way up to the abyss. 2, 3, 4. I think I have 16. 15. Okay, shh. Everybody be quiet. Okay. I'm gonna pretend like I'm not on live. Where's my charger, bro? I don't have my charger. He said I'm young and beautiful. Thank you.